G'day and welcome, guys, to another episode of My Blue Heaven. I'm here to preview our semi-final clash. God, how good's that to say? Semi-final clash against the Melbourne Football Club at the MCG on another Friday night in this 2013 Toyota AFL Premiership season. Geez, that sounded good, didn't it? We are into the second week. We are in there, and that's all I wanted last week. I know in my preview last week before the Swans game, I said, let's just get into this second week. I filled myself up on that game. I'm not full. I am not full. I want more. I'll get to my synopsis in a minute. But before I do that, and how's the weather? Oh my God. If this is what it's going to be like on Friday night, fuck the atmosphere. Oh my God, the walk to the G. No, I'm not walking from Werribee, but the walk from the train station or from your car to the G on Friday night with this type of weather is as good as it gets. This is finals. Last week felt like the weather felt like home and away. It really did. It was so cold. Now, this here. Now, I put this photo on my vlog, which I shared on this YouTube channel on Monday morning, really early on Monday morning. And I've just had some fantastic feedback from that vlog. And I put this photo on the end of it. And this is a couple of my kids. I've got 4 children. They weren't all at the football. Another one of my sons was there. I'm not quite sure why he's not in the photo, but that's obviously the fuckwit there, yours truly. This is my eldest son, Chad, and this is my youngest son, Macaulay. Now, Macaulay is 15, and he's in year 10, and I uploaded that vlog really early on Monday morning. So at school, and I'm not going to say what school he goes to because he might get in trouble. No, he won't get in trouble. But at school on Monday, him and his 2 mates, Marcus and Lucas, also known as KFC. Now, Marcus is a Western Bulldog supporter and Lucas is actually a Carlton supporter. They are regular viewers of My Blue Heaven. I reckon they must laugh a little bit at Macaulay's dad, but they do watch it, okay? They do watch it. They're probably the only teenagers that watch this fucking old man talk about football. Anyway, that was early. They must have watched the show early at school. And then Marcus, Macaulay's mate, had woodwork in the afternoon. And he went away and made that in woodwork. Now, that is an extraordinary piece of craftsmanship by Marcus. Look at that, guys. That is incredible. In fact, that is an endorsement for the school that my child goes to. That is brilliant. Have a look at that. That is going straight to the My Blue Heaven pool room. And I cherish that. Thank you very much, Marcus, and keep tuning in, mate. I really appreciate the thought. That looks absolutely superb. Anyway, okay. Enough of the sentimental stuff. Put your orders in. I'm sure Marcus would love to start up a small little business. That's sort of superb sort of stuff. How am I feeling 2 days, 4 hours and 6 minutes out from this game? I'm looking at the odds here. It says Melbourne are $1.69, we're $2.78. I think that's fair. I think that is really fair. I know I copped a little bit on my review of the Sydney game that I was too negative. What I was trying to say, and I'm not going to justify my thoughts on the football club. I'm certainly not here to put blinkers on and just go, rah, 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 let's believe we can do this, and all that sort of stuff. Okay, I can still be a fanboy and I can still barrack, okay, nearly have a heart attack at the football, or have a stroke, which I reckon I've had a couple of times, jumping up and just felt this like fucking electric shock go through my head. I can still do all that stuff, which I do. But I can still have thoughts about the way I think it would pan out or the way I think we play. Now, what I was trying to say, and I thought I was actually quite complimentary on our performance against Sydney. All right? We beat them by 6 points on our home turf at the G in front of 92,000 people in a final. Understand all that. Understand that it was a final. It was the first final we played. Understand all the emotion around it. Well, what I'm trying to say is we are going to have to take it to a significant another level than what we did against Sydney last Friday night to beat Melbourne. And I understand Melbourne have got some significant issues in their front half, but I also think we have as well. I'll get to that shortly. I understand that they're potentially going to go out in straight sets like they did last year, and there might be some pressure on them. I understand they've had a big week with the Angus Brayshaw situation, and they've lost Van Ruin, and they've lost Angus Brayshaw, who is one of their best players, one of their most reliable players. And I also understand that they're a little bit maybe on edge. Their coach is on edge, and the way he's responded in the media over the last 3 or 4 days suggests that they might be under a little bit of pressure internally. But I actually believe, my head is saying we have already given our all. We've already given our all. And I'm not saying we're coming here to this game cooked as such. But I reckon we've been riding this element of luck, and we've made our own luck, and we thoroughly deserve to be in the position we are. But over the last month, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, since probably the Melbourne game, the last quarter of that Melbourne game, which was a cracker, I think it's plateaued it's a strange word to use when you've made a semi-final. Okay, it's a strange word. It's a strange word because we won our first final and now we're saying we're plateaued. But I'd be feeling a lot more comfortable if we were going into this game on the back of the form we showed against Port Adelaide, Collingwood. In that, I'm calling it the 2023 golden patch that we had. I reckon. I think since that Melbourne game, late in that Melbourne game, into the Gold Coast game and in the GWS game, and even against Sydney, I don't feel like we're playing to our full capabilities, which seems strange given how poor we were at the start of the year. And I always sort of said that we had to get going in this year, and we peaked. We reached this peak, and I actually don't see this as a juggernaut that's just going to keep going this year. And I know that's not a huge statement, but to get beyond this week and then to take on Brisbane Lions at the Gabba next week, that is a mountain that just seems so far away. But I reckon Melbourne are going to be so fucking ferocious, and we will be too, and so angry and just slightly more experienced. And I know we've got some experience as well. But to me, they're seasoned campaigners in this, I'm going to use this wanky word, in this space. I feel like our unbelievable journey, which has given us so much, is about to come to an end. But I'll repeat, that doesn't mean I won't get there on Friday night and scream my fucking absolute lungs off. And that's not to say I don't give us, I give us a chance. But I don't want to have 1 foot in each camp. Okay? My head is saying our journey is going to come to the end based on what I've seen probably over the last 3 or 4 weeks. And I know the positive for me out of the last week, the positive was obviously the role players were exceptional. The amount we got out of Cottrell, and the good thing about Cottrell is he's a machine, so he won't be tired. But we will need another game like that from Cottrell, I think. And we'll need those role players to step up again. And another positive was the form of Walsh and Chera was really big. But we're going to need, I think, probably Hewitt to play a big, big role in this game, like he did last time against Melbourne. And we're going to need our skipper to have a better performance than what he did against the Swans last week. And I'm not saying it was a bad game by Patrick Cripps, but you wouldn't want to be playing 2 games like that in a row in a final series. And the same goes for Charlie. And it seems very simple, but if we can stop their supply, like we did when we played them last time in round 22, whenever it was, they only had 48 inside 50s. Okay, we had 53. Okay, and that was in stark contrast to when we played them early on in the year in round 12. They had 59, we had 39. So it was a big turnaround. And we didn't have Chera, we didn't have Walsh the last time we played. However, Oliver had just come back. That's going to be our only chance in this game if we can stop their supply. But I think Gawn is in for a fucking feast. I really do. And I know we did quite well against him. He only had the 11 touches. He didn't do much around the ground, but he had 47 hit-outs. It didn't correspond significantly into clearance for them. I can't see him having another one like that against us. And I know he's got a foot injury. And it's going to come down to, and I'm sure both clubs have got a plan going inside forward 50, call it execution, but this game to me will be won by the club which makes the most out of half chances in their front half. And I just believe Melbourne have probably got as good a midfield than us and a better ruckman. And I feel like they've got more X factor in their front half. It can do more damage if they get some supply. And I'm just worried about our forward line. I really am. I'm very confident in our back line. But if this comes down to a bit of a fight on the scoreboard, because it's going to be relatively low scoring and I can't see it any other way, I don't know where we're going to get our goals if Charlie doesn't kick at least 4. And I'd be fucking gobsmacked, guys, if Charlie kicks 1 or 2 goals and we still win this game. I'd be gobsmacked. I just don't see it. I think Harry and Martin are bigger outs than Van Ruin and Brayshaw for them, although Brayshaw is a genuine gun. He gives them reliability. He's such a steady footballer. And Van Ruin has played well for them, even played well against us. I just feel like they've got more X factor. And if Charlie doesn't step up, I just don't know where our scoring is going to come from. I don't see TDK and Jack. They are valuable players in their own right, but I don't see them as being reliable contributors in front of the big sticks. And we don't have enough scoreboard. We don't get enough scoreboard output from our mids. I know Kirippa and Cherry kicked goals last week. They'll need to do that again this week. But we don't get enough out of Fogarty and Cunningham. They give us some defensive pressure, but we need more. And I just don't know how we are going to score consistently or enough against this Melbourne defence. And I know we'll try and keep Lever honest. And I know Charlie will give his all against Stephen May. But I look at that Melbourne forward line and I look at the X factor. I look at Fritsch and how dangerous he can be. It can be such a difficult matchup. McDonald will probably be better for the run. Whether they play Ben Brown or Joel Smith, they've got some options. And then I look at Neil Bullen, and I listened to Neil Bullen on the radio the other morning on SEN, and there was something about the way he was talking and the confidence that this team will respond. And you talk about that five players of Lever, May, Petrarca, Oliver, and Gawn, the experience of that. Then you forget about players like fucking Neil Bullen, who, like Langdon, are just seasoned pros, and throw in Lockie Hunter as well. So I'm not feeling it, guys. I'm not feeling it, other than the fact that I'm fucking so excited to get there, and I'll scream my lungs out. For us, who comes in? Well, Jack comes in, but fuck it, the pressure's on. The pressure's on. And I know we probably haven't got much of a choice, and there's probably not many options there, but I don't want to hear this shit after the fact that, he wasn't quite right or he wasn't match fit. You come into a semi-final, you got to fucking perform. So there's lots of pressure on Jack Silvani because he's feeling, and I know Jack Martin, what he did was just fucking undisciplined to miss this semi-final, because I think he's such a vital player for us. And to put us in that situation with just a careless and undisciplined act, we're just losing so much without Jack Martin. He just gives us so much. In fact, he's one of our, probably apart from Charlie, he's our most important forward, and we lose him. And now we bring in an undercooked, underdone Jack Silvani, but fuck it, the pressure's on Jack, whether he's the one that goes to Lever, but he's going to have to be dangerous. It's no point just coming in and taking care of Lever. He's going to have to hit the scoreboard. And the same with TDK. And the beauty about it, I suppose the plus about that is Jack gets to spend all his time forward. He doesn't have to go in the ruck, but for fuck's sake, TDK. Clunk a few, brother. Clunk a few. Hit the scoreboard. All right? Keep Melbourne honest. Give us another option. All right? Whether Matthew Kennedy comes in, whether we play Fisher, whether we play Dow. I actually wouldn't mind us playing Paddy Dow. Whether he comes in as the medical sub, as the tactical sub. I don't know whether we can bring both Jack and Kennedy into a semi-final, given they haven't played a lot of football. I want to see more from Doc this week. Thought he was a little bit down. Definitely need more out of Owies. Thought he had a poor one. I want to see Hewitt probably go to... Wouldn't mind seeing Hewitt go to Viney. But he'll probably go to Oliver, which I wouldn't mind either. So he needs to do a job. I don't mind that. But I think we need a lift right across the board. And Akers, the bloke that carried us last week in that last quarter, is sore. And that worries me as well. Anyway, the D's... What are they going to do at selection table? Who knows? I might do a live selection, guys, tomorrow. They've got their concerns, obviously, with Brayshaw going out and Van Ruin. But they're just steady across the park, aren't they? And the big fella in the ruck, he's the one that worries me the most. And I'm not being fucking Einstein in saying that, but he is... We talk about once-in-generation players. They've got Petrarca and they've got Gawn. Okay, they are the cream, the absolute cream. And I know we've got Charlie. But it's sort of easier for the cream in the midfield, particularly a ruckman, because ruckman don't get tagged. Petrarca is nearly impossible to get tagged, where we know they're just going to put the fucking clamps on Charlie. We just know that. So where the fuck are the goals going to come from, guys? I need you to tell me where our score is going to come from. in this game. All right. Anyway, that's enough. I might do a live show tomorrow night on selection, because it is going to be fascinating to see what we do. But I hate to say it, I just got this feeling, which is in my head, that our wonderful, wonderful journey is about to be spoiled by the Melbourne Football Club at the MCG on Friday night. Tell me I'm fucking overreacting here. Speak soon.